Can I see the scoreboard there?
Everyone else sit down, please. Sit down in the chairs, sit down. And you must have something to organise yourselves before you gear check. You're going to have your gear check. Okay. But just know who you are.
Oh, hit the uppercut. Hit the uppercut to the other two. Oh, that's wrong. I won the after party. Memory.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Johnny Smash challenge. Winning the after party.
You should be up there winning.
Yeah. I think you're up for the challenge. You can go the hard yards. I think it's about pacing yourself, though. Yeah, I think so. Like
2 beers at a bar. Well, you don't wait in line.
Well, that's true.
2 beers.
I think get the 2 beers.
Wait for 3, 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, you just like get the 3 beers and then space it out. I'm not even warm, but that's cold. Yeah, that's what people kind of said. That like last time it was really cold. Better crowds going for these games. It kind of freaked me out.
I did.
it.
I found when I was doing the other one, when you move around, actually walk. That's right. I just go at the end and walk around.
We're like moving between. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 2 of TGSS, the Great Southern Slam, here in beautiful Adelaide in South Australia. I'm Scarface Johansson here. Outcasting with me today is Bulldog.
How y'all doing?
A man of many words, a man of very deep words. Today we are streaming to you with Margaret River Roller Derby and the North Brisbane Rollers facing off here on track 1 at the Adelaide Showgrounds.
Margaret River will be in the black jerseys. Northern Brisbane will be in the, what did you call that?
I'd call that like an aqua blue,
Aqua blue,
like a teal.
Yeah, not aquamarine. Yeah,
No.
Teal.
Teal? Yeah, teal
That's
sounds appealing.
Really accurate.
Margaret River's first ever Great Southern Slam up against North Brisbane.
I'll probably just call it blue, though.
You can call it blue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Make it easy. Make it easy.
Yeah, but all you fashionistas out there, just let know that we are aware.
We know that it is a variation of blue.
That's right. First up for Margaret River, we've got Danny Hellraiser, number 999, against Red Hot Riot, number 313 for Northern Brisbane, who gets lead jammer right off the bat. Now hitting the pack on her first scoring pass to the outside, gets repelled by Ningaloo Grief, and one of those interesting down under names that I still haven't figured out what that means.
There will surely be a few of them here. Margaret River's jammer finally making her way through that pack, getting past that last line of defense from North Brisbane.
Cutting the track on the Northern Brisbane jammer Red Hot Riot, so that's a power jam for Margaret River. Danny Hellraiser now on her first scoring pass, running into crush and kick, stays in bounds narrowly. Nabaum making a last-ditch effort with a shoulder check, but kind of half-hearted. Grand slam for Margaret River.
They definitely want to utilize this time now because Red Hot Riot will not be in the sin bin forever.
Easy time through the pack the second time around. 10 points for Margaret River, and that ends the power jam as Red Hot Riot powers in ahead of Danny Hellraiser, only getting knocked down by Ningaloo Grief, number B52. And that's going to be a low block, and she goes right back to the penalty box.
Back where she was just only a moment ago. leaving Margaret River's jammer flying solo on the track today, racking up those points for Margaret River.
That was crunch time, making last contact for Northern Brisbane. But Danny Hellraiser coming through again. Yet still on a power jam. Second power jam in this jam.
She definitely has that force behind her to push forward that North Brisbane wall. Doing a very good job.
That was scoring pass number 4. 20 points on the board for Margaret River already. 4 wall at the front. Nabom makes contact. Indigo Fury drops back to bridge. And Danny Hellraiser gets around, crushing kick and Nabom, completing yet one more scoring pass. 5 points brings it to 25 for Margaret River. But Northern Brisbane does get a solitary point. But they do clear their jammer out of the penalty box, so they will field a fresh one. That's going to be Rockatilly against Rangabanga. That's another. What does that mean?
Rangabanga. Rangabanga is like a redhead and a banger, like someone who prefers intercourse with redheads. Is that PC enough? Can I say that? A Rangabanga? Yeah.
Then, and it's not. It has nothing to do with G-string, like G-banger with
Like
Victoria.
Oh no, different again,
different kind of banger. All right then. Rockatilly, Northern Brisbane picking up lead jammer for the second time in a row, but of course, as you may have noticed, lead jammer was lost when Red Hot Riot got sent to the penalty box. This time, that's not the case. Rockatilly gets all the way through, calls off the jam, and gets the jammer lap point as well. 5 points for Northern Brisbane, brings them to 6. Margaret River at 25, and we're just 3 minutes into the first half.
Pretty amazing stuff to see, considering that this is Margaret River's first ever Great Southern Slam. They were established in 2010 and have only actually been officially bouting for about 8 months, considering that North Brisbane have been to the past 2 Great Southern Slams and have made it into the quarterfinals previously. It's very, very interesting stuff to see.
And now I'm wondering if did I say Indigo Fury for the previous jammer, because it was Rockatilly, but they look.
No, you said Rockatilly.
Okay, good.
You got it right.
Because Indigo Fury, who could be her sister, I think. But of course, I've only been looking at that skater for about 10 minutes. But
only 10 minutes. That's nothing.
Very similar hair and build. But Indigo Fury gets out right behind Betty Yokosuka. But Margaret River jammer getting lead, calls it off. It's going to be scoreless.
That is better than being scored against, I suppose.
Is that a banger reference?
What?
I don't know.
If you're wondering, they're called the Cabernet Savages because they enjoy wine.
That's
From
right.
Margaret River, where they make wine and enjoy wine.
That's Brat, number K8. I'm actually not sure if that's supposed to be pronounced Kate, but I'm going to go with Brat. Jamming for Northern Brisbane. And there goes Danny Handy Mandy. Oh, my goodness.
All these names. All these beautiful, amazing names.
Okay, sorry about that. Handy Mandy is 999, and Danny Hellraiser is 777. I may have called Handy Mandy Danny Hellraiser a while back. But okay, we're gonna get this sorted out in about another 10 minutes. We should have this all sorted out.
Another 10. There should be no more confusion. It should be all clear sailing. Rang-a-banger, jamming from Margaret River. Let's see if she can pull some tricks out of her sleeves. That was
another 5 points for Northern Brisbane. This time Rangabanga versus Indigo Fury. Indigo Fury for Northern Brisbane in the blue, and Rangabanga for Margaret River in the black. Indigo Fury to the outside, going out of bounds, has to recycle, but so does Rangabanga on the inside. Dropped back there by Red Hot Riot. Yes, Red Hot Riot. At the back, holding back Rangabang as Indigo Fury gets lead jammers. Over at Northern Brisbane, very successful on the lead jammer front. I believe that Margaret River's only got one lead jammer so far in the game.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
A plausible story.
It certainly is.
But so far, Northern Brisbane's given up more power jams. But here it is, Rangabang, I believe, going to the penalty box for the first time for the Margaret River Jammers.
That's definitely going to punish Margaret River right now. They really wanted to keep a hold of that nice lead that they have. They still have it. They can still maintain it. But with their jammer sitting in the sin bin, it is just very, very difficult.
Yeah, so far all of the Margaret River at 25 points, but all of those points were scored in the very first jam, due largely to two power jams given up by Northern Brisbane in a row.
That's
in the
right.
same jam.
That's exactly right.
Indigo.
Unless they can pull out the same sort of stops now, forcing a power jam, it's going to be a pretty tough game.
Tie game now. That's Northern Brisbane slowly catching up to Margaret River's lead. So they've definitely been the more consistent team. They simply had a really rough first jam on the jammer line.
Everyone is entitled to a rough jam. Everyone gets a rough jam here and there. What matters is the consistency. If it's a consistently good jam, consistently good gameplay, you will rack up your points very easily. Mistakes do happen.
You just gotta believe.
That's exactly right. Margaret River, Danny Hellraiser making her way through the pack, captain of the Cabernet Savages.
But Bratt of Northern Brisbane in the blue catching up to Danny Hellraiser, forcing the call off. That's exactly what happened the last time Margaret River got lead jammer. The Northern Brisbane jammer got out right behind her, and it was a scoreless jam.
And it is all tactics. I mean, if they're just going to release that jammer behind them, they're just going to call it off. There is no need trying to force your way through a pack if the other team is just going to rack up points around you.
Now it's Rockatelli back on the jammer line for Northern Brisbane against Betty Yokosuka.
Yokosuka, to all of those who have been to Japan. I wonder if it has a fancy meaning.
And an easy run up the inside lane, getting around Just a Jam Fancy, number 66 of Margaret River.
Betty
Rockatelli is
Yokosuka.
lead jammer.
Betty Yokosuka trying to take that inside line, making her way through. Not lead jammer, unfortunately.
That was a crushing kick, trying to hold her in, but not able to. Rockatelli, though, fighting her way up the outside lane, gets right past Smack and Just a Jam Fancy, calls off the jam, gonna get 4 points. This is actually the first score of the game that was not a grand slam. 4 points for Northern Brisbane, nothing for Margaret River in that one, so that puts Northern Brisbane in the lead for the first time in the game.
North Brisbane very, very quickly and easily racking up their points. Margaret River still sitting on that 25-point mark, not moving 1 inch, not one minuscule iota. Dancing around on 25 points. They want to pull out some fancy tricks now.
Number 777, Danny Hellraiser for Margaret River in the black against number K8, Bratt. Jamming for Northern Brisbane, who finds the inside lane, gets past Ningaloo Grief, and she's lead jammer for Northern Brisbane once again. Danny Hellraiser staying in bounds against a shoulder check from Heartless Hussey. Now gets around Auntie Chrysler, one of my favorite names actually for Northern Brisbane, and completes her initial pass, but Bratt completing her first scoring pass, gets 4, and casually calls it off. She just takes some time off the clock.
That's exactly right. Very casually, just tapping her hips oh so lightly, waiting for Danny Hellraiser to use up all her energy to try and make her way to the back of the pack, only to be confronted with the 4 whistles calling off the jam. Handy Mandy, one of the preferred jammers for Margaret River, taking her place behind that jammer line up against Rockatelli, captain of the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
So far we are in jam number 8, and Margaret River has yet to score since the first jam.
Handy Mandy using her defense to push her way to the front of the pack. However, she did not make her way through. Got recycled to the back of the pack again. All that work for nothing. What a heartbreak.
Rockatelli not lead jammer, but Handy Mandy up front, Red Hot Riot and Crunch Time holding firm, but finally she gets far enough to claim lead jammer, calls off the jam. No points for either team.
No points at all, which I suppose is good for Margaret River. Holding on to that 25-point mark.
And Betty Yokosuka jamming here for Margaret River.
Indigo Fury, number 480, jamming for Northern Brisbane in the blue. Betty Yokosuka, number 77, jamming for Margaret River in the black. Both teams at full strength. Betty Yokosuka bashing her way straight up the center, A last-ditch hip check from Brad is not going to stop her. She's lead jammer for Margaret River. But once again, every single time they've gotten lead jammer, Northern Brisbane has gotten their jammer out right behind, forced the call-off. That's 3 times in a row for the lead jammer status for Margaret River.
That's exactly right. So what Margaret River are wanting to preferably do, they want to open their wall up, they want to allow their jammer through, get them the lead jammer, and then they just want to sit, force themselves down onto the North Brisbane jammer. They do not want them to be putting pressure on their own jammer by releasing them from the pack in close proximity of each other. It puts too much pressure on their jammers. It's forcing them to call off, and it's losing them points. It's losing them their lead jammer status, which is something that they do want to hold on to so dearly.
Danny Hellraiser, number 777, in the thick of the pack, knocked out of bounds briefly, but comes back in clean and right up front, crushing kick, falls down, and Danny Hellraiser has a clear path, only to have Red Hot Riot catch her in turn 1, knocking her out of bounds and into the cheap seats.
The cheapest of seats.
Akatilli, jamming for Northern Brisbane, gets up at a. Oh, I think that Danny Hellraiser actually got lead jammer, just got her hips ahead of the pack, and called it off. No points.
Certainly did with that cheap seat shot. She decided it was going to be too much, too hard, too much effort at that point in time. Called it off. No points for either team. Points at a standstill at the moment. 25 for Margaret River and 33 for North Brisbane.
Just over 7 minutes remaining in the first half, 33-25. We've got Brad on the jammer line for Northern Brisbane in the blue. Against Handy Mandy, number 999. Up front, squeezes right past Indigo Fury. Clears the pack. There's that Danger Meowch. Yes, Danger Meowch. Made last contact for Northern Brisbane, but this time it's a lead jammer, and Handy Mandy has a half a lap lead for the first time on Northern Brisbane. Now on her first scoring pass as lead jammer. Oh, but Brat gets into the pack. May have scored some points to match.
Took a little bit of a fall. No points. No points for Brat. 4 points for Handy Mandy.
So that is the first point since the very first jam that Margaret River has scored. But they're still holding Northern Brisbane close. Northern Brisbane has only been nickel and diming and sometimes pennying up on these jams, not scoring big jams. So the game is actually neck and neck. Only 4 points separating the two teams.
4 points being absolutely nothing in a game of roller derby. A few times around the track will have you clock up way more than 4 points, meaning it is still anyone's game right now with only just over 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Red Hot Riot jamming for Northern Brisbane, gets around Ningaloo Grief and claims lead jammer. Now on point for Northern Brisbane is a crushing kick, holding back Betty Yokosuka, the Margaret River jammer, who now clears the pack, but just ahead of Red Hot Riot getting into the pack on a scoring pass. Red Hot Riot easily getting past Jam, she gets past Just Jam Fancy, but gets a back block penalty. This is exactly what happened in the very first jam. She got a penalty as soon as she got into the pack on her first scoring pass. And actually, I remember she scored 1 point in that jam. So there was a jam where they didn't score grand slams, but
That's right. We got Betty Yokosuka now flying solo, jamming by herself on the track, facing up against North Brisbane.
And of course, Red Hot Riot was lead jammer, so we'll go the full 2 minutes. Betty Yokosuka getting knocked down by a hip check from Rockatelli, but picks herself back up. Did not go out of bounds, and now leans into crushing kick. Gets out of the pack, but is not lead jammer. She was attempting to call off the jam, but no, the jam will continue, and Red Hot Riot will have a chance to redeem herself. Now completing that first scoring pass, gets all 4.
Betty Yokosuka could definitely have utilized that time trying to call off the jam by making a little bit more track time. Unfortunately, she did think she had the lead jammer status. Stood around for just a little bit too long, tapping her hips.
That is a grand slam for Red Hot Riot. 9 points so far for Northern Brisbane. Betty Yokosuka, looks like she got sent to the penalty box on a cut, but went past the line of no return. Has to take that extra lap of shame. Red Hot Riot knocked out of bounds and comes back in ahead. So it's going to be a race to the penalty box by the jammers, but the jam is actually over. So they were
both jammers sitting in the bin.
Didn't actually have to race. So we have a simultaneous sit down, technically. I think Red Hot Riot actually won the sprint, but since it was in between jams, the jam was already over. They are technically sitting down simultaneously. That means that they'll both serve 10 seconds and then get released.
That's exactly right. And then it'll be a rush to the track and a race to get through that pack.
So we'll technically start the first 10 seconds with a jammerless jam. Well, we got an official timeout.
They need to review what's just happened. It is very confusing times like this, especially even for a league like Margaret River, who, as I said before, have only really been batting for about 8 months. Things like this, when it gets very technical, it can be confusing for even the most established of leagues.
Okay, well, it looks like they're sending Red Hot Riot to the track. Well, they may have decided that Red Hot Riot sat down about 1 second ahead of Betty Yokosuka, or it's possible. Well, hopefully we'll get some clarification on this. But I'm attempting to deduce it's possible that Betty Yokosuka got 2 penalties, in which case that would negate the penalty time, or in other words, reduce Red Hot Riot's penalty time to 0. And reduce Betty Yokosuka's penalty to 1. However, we do need confirmation on that. But that is one scenario which would explain Red Hot Riot going back. Either that.
Just a little bit of referee configuration now.
Well, I can spin some more stories for you if you'd like. We're trying to make sense of what's going on. Hopefully, we'll get some official information, but so far, okay. Well, a little love between the jammers. This is so far a very exciting game. Only 7 points separating the 2 teams, so far fairly evenly matched. I mean, there was a huge jam in the very first jam from Margaret River, followed by a very consistent jamming from Northern Brisbane. But now it seems to have settled down. So both teams just kind of keeping up with each other.
That's right. It's only going to be a short matter of time before these scores even out.
Okay, so I think it was back to plan A. It's going to be a simultaneous start. Both jammers sitting for 10 seconds.
No.
And returning to the track, and now the jam is on.
My goodness.
They even went onto the track in a coordinated fashion, but now all chaos breaks loose and Red Hot Riot blasts through the furnace of the pack, gets lead jammer. Betty Yokosuka, they started in the penalty box, so lead jammer was up for grabs. Danger Meowch getting a penalty. She's gonna have to go an extra lap.
Crawl away all the way around the track to make her way back to the sin bin.
But Red Hot Riot on a scoring pass now screams up the inside lane, just outraces Flea Ra, calls off the jam. 4 points for Northern Brisbane, and Betty Yokosuka just coming up shy at the back of the pack.
It's always strange when things like that, when it becomes very official, when you got to start reviewing rules, and when it becomes very confusing, and then you just don't know what's going on, and you just go, you know what, I'm just going to go out, I'm just going to skate, I'm going to hit some people, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then the head ref starts going on Twitter.
Starts Googling what the real rules are. He's like, wait, has that been a change? What's happened?
No, I think it was more they just wanted to be sure that they had done it right. It's a situation that doesn't come up that often.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. And because it doesn't come up so often, some people do still have to have a bit of a think about exactly what the protocol is in calling things like that.
Absolutely. But Rockatelli jamming for Northern Brisbane. She's lead jammer on the first scoring pass, runs into Busty Demon, now shunted to the inside by Sugar Glide, knocking over Smack as they do so.
Danny Hellraiser from Margaret River made her way. Did she get points? She did. No, she didn't. No points.
But only 1 point scored by Rockatelli. So that brings it to 51 points for Northern Brisbane and 39 for Margaret River with just 1 minute remaining in the first half.
1 minute, and a lot can happen in 1 minute. I see Ranga Banga there up against Brat from North Brisbane.
In point of fact, 2 minutes can happen in 1 minute.
That is very true. See, this is how confusing roller derby can be, okay? So if you're not following it, it's okay, because sometimes we don't follow it exactly either.
How dare you? Speak for yourself.
we follow it. We follow it the best. We're in fact the only ones who know the real rules.
Ranga Banga for Margaret River gets around crunch time and is lead jammer for Margaret River, I believe only for the 4th or possibly 5th time. We're not keeping official stats at the station, but she's got plenty of room, half a lap ahead of Brat, the Northern Brisbane jammer.
The good thing is that 2 North Brisbane blockers are still serving time in the sin bin. So this is going to be time for Margaret River to rack up just a couple of points ahead of Brisbane.
All right, but Crush and Kick, got to give credit to Crush and Kick, always making contact, forcing the jammer to pay a toll to get out of the pack every single time Margaret River's jammer attempts to score points. So very consistent blocking from Crush and Kick, number 268 on Northern Brisbane. Just something I noticed.
Just something you saw visually, took aboard, verbalized.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just get tunnel vision. You just focus on something like lavender hair, maybe, you know.
Lavender hair, man, oh man, everybody loves a bit of lavender hair.
Or lavender helmets, like Mad Mere Merrill, but she's got a lovely flower in her hair.
Oh, man.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Flowers and lavender, it's all going to get very off topic in a minute.
It's the halftime euphoria at Northern Brisbane versus Margaret River. And we've got 54 points for Northern Brisbane, 43 points for Margaret River, 11 points separating. We got about 9 minutes left in the halftime. Any words before we take a break?
Nothing right now. I don't know about you, Bulldog, but I love a close game. I love it when you're always having to watch and see what the tactics are and how they change depending on how the game evolves for the teams. And in this game, I've got to admit, North Brisbane Rollers, Margaret River Roller Derby, it could still be anyone's game. I don't want to use that term because it does get thrown around a lot, disgustingly large amounts. But it would be good to see Margaret River with a bit of a notch on their belt, especially up against someone like North Brisbane, who have been at 2 Great Southern Slams, made it to finals consecutively. Something interesting to see.
So we'll be back in about 8 minutes. You'll still be able to hear us if we have any conversations off mic, so we'll be sure and step far away.
We will keep it all very G-rated for all of our under 12 people listening out there. But of course, if it doesn't stay G-rated, just pretend. Just bleep it out.
There was some good reaching at the front. They're not, guys, they're not confident. So you guys need to be really aware of trying to communicate because they're not What's the music?
You're good to go whenever.
All right, teams are lining up for the second half here for the gear check. And once again, now that she's back in the building, we'd just like to mention that the Margaret River Cabernet Savages are dedicating this bout to Hells Darlin. Hells Darlin injured, breaking her ankle, I believe, earlier in the day. Good to see Hells Darlin back in the building, back from hospital with a nice fresh cast on the leg. Well, it's not good to see her with a cast on the leg, but I'm glad she's up and about.
The rest is good. The refs just doing their second safety check, checking if any of our skaters have become unsafe in the last 10 minutes.
We'll be starting the second half of Northern Brisbane Rollers versus Margaret River Roller Derby in about a minute, which could last 2 minutes.
As we established.
But it's time to mention a couple more sponsors. Rydell Skates, founded in 1945, Rydell Skates has been dedicated to providing skaters everywhere with the highest quality skates at the absolute best value.
That's right, and you can hear our lovely words. Thanks to BSS Light Audio Visual, supply all our AV equipment. They're one of our major sponsors here.
But we're going to call them blue.
If you have some children out there that you think might be interested in playing roller derby, the Little Adelaide Rollers are recruiting, always recruiting. They offer a safe and fun environment for juniors aged 8 to 17 to learn and play flat track roller derby.
That's right, they are really quite fantastic actually. So we've got Red Hot Riot lining up for the Northern Brisbane Rollers in this first game, second half.
And Handy Mandy lining up for Margaret River. It is Red Hot Riot that is through for Lee Jammer though.
She just slipped straight through them, right off the whistle.
She was shot out of her gun.
And again.
Well, Margaret River too busy looking at their own jammer there, trying to help her get back on the track. Red Hot Riot easily picking up the points. A full 5 points on that pass for Red Hot Riot and a good start for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
There was 2 scoring passes.
We've got Rockatilly lining up for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
And Betty Yokosuka lining up for Margaret River.
5. It was 5 points. Excuse me. 1 scoring pass was 5. It was 54 to 43.
So we got a bit in the pack.
5-point scoring pass. Now we've got Rockatilly, team captain.
Rockatilly recycle back, giving the Cabernet
Betty Yokosuka who gets out first from Lee Jammer. But there is Rockatilly getting out and instantly closing the gap.
Betty Yokosuka calls off the jam and Rockatilly right behind her there.
There were quite a few skaters in the penalty box at the start of the second half.
Zanny Hellraiser jamming now for Margaret River.
And Red Hot Riot Skating in for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
Very happy, ready to go. One big happy family. Red Hot Riot up against Danny Hellraiser, captain of the Margaret.
5-on-5. Red Hot Riot not going to catch Margaret River by surprise this time. They're ready for it and knock it to the ground right off the first whistle. But Danny Hellraiser getting the same treatment from Northern Brisbane.
Red Hot Riot gets through, picks up lead jammer, and it will be a power jam. Danny Hellraiser off to the penalty box for a multiplayer block.
I believe it was a back throw, if I'm not mistaken.
Northern Brisbane Rollers holding the pack
I
back.
think you're right, but or he was either a back off or a low
And
block.
letting the Cabernet Savages try to all go in front of the engagement
Red Hot
zone.
Riot getting a grand slam on a good scoring pass. Up to 64
Red Hot
points
Riot
now.
back
Northern Brisbane
around,
so far,
engaging the
Margaret
pack.
River has not
Does
been able to
well,
score
takes the
right now.
hit. Ningaloo Grief did her best to
making
stop
last
her, but
contact for
Red Hot
Margaret
Riot gets
River.
through, scores the
As Red
5.
Hot Riot comes in for a scoring pass. Number 3 this time.
Northern
Just
Brisbane Rollers
ricochets off a hip
pulling
check.
the pack back, stretching
from
back,
Ningaloo Grief.
holding it in
knocking her down
place,
the process,
letting the
and
jammer
gets
do the
that
work.
third grand slam.
Pick up 5
Bringing
points.
Northern Brisbane up to 74 points. Calls it off.
Good solid start to the second half
Danny
for the
Hellraiser
Northern Brisbane
did
Rollers.
clear the penalty box. So Handy Mandy coming in as a freshman.
Handy Mandy jamming
Definitely
for
lucky
Margaret River.
timing there for Margaret River. Had
And
she
we've got
called it off
Brett
just a few
lining up
seconds
for the Northern
earlier,
Brisbane
they
Rollers.
would be going on now without a jammer, which is definitely not what they need at the moment.
Brett on the K8 jamming for Northern Brisbane. 4-on-3 pack in favor of Northern Brisbane. Inside lane for
And Brett gets through with lead
but she
jammer.
comes out just barely ahead of Handy Mandy. Handy Mandy staring down Brett.
Brett
as
very
Brett's
watchful,
looking over her shoulder,
looking at Handy
watching
Mandy.
Margaret.
Handy
Jammer
Mandy
coming breathing
thinking she
down
was
her
lead
neck.
jammer there
Now
for a
comes
split
in, now
second.
comes in
As Brett
inverted,
hits the pack
blasts
and
in
calls
with
off the
a-
jam,
with a
picking up
hip
1
check.
point in the process.
And only gonna get, it is gonna get
Once
1
again,
point.
Brett goes into the pack
Actually
backwards
got
and just barely gets her hips behind around one of the opposing
Swift
blockers.
maneuver it was indeed.
Betty
Definitely comes
Yokosuka
in handy
jamming
with the
now
ability
for
to do
Margaret
so.
River.
And
No
Indigo
points
Fury for the
Margaret
Northern
River.
Brisbane Rollers.
Not being able to get past her own wall of defence as it collided together to stop the North Brisbane jammer.
Both teams at full strength. We've got Indigo Fury in the 480, green for Northern Brisbane, Betty Yokosuka, number 77 in the black for Margaret River. 3-wall, triple delta.
Indigo Fury gets through, takes a whip of one of her players' jerseys there, and picks up
In
lead
front of
jammer.
Betty Yokosuka, knocking her out of bounds, comes back in clean, slams into Red Hot Riot, knocks
Betty
down
Yokosuka breaking through the pack now,
and
but
comes out
Indigo
of the
Fury
pack.
already
But
round, scoring
Indigo Fury
points.
already leads jammer
She's
on
taking
her
a
first
few
point. That's
heavy
knocked
hits to the
out of bounds
outside.
on the outside.
And she's
Comes back
recycled to
in
the back of the
behind
pack.
Molly Kopp. Gets ahead of Molly Kopp.
Crashing kick off to the penalty box for a high block on Ningaloo Grief.
2 points for
Northern Brisbane Rollers pick up another 2 points.
For Margaret River.
Margaret River has yet to score in the second half, and we're already 5 minutes in.
5 minutes is a long time.
We've got
in derby
Rockatilly
time.
lining up for the Northern Brisbane
Especially
Rollers.
as we are only playing 40-minute games.
And
so
Danny
2
Hellraiser
20-minute halves.
for
So it's
Margaret
actually-
River.
5 minutes is actually a longer time than it usually is.
It certainly is. It is a quarter of a half. Is it an 8?
And so in this case, 5 minutes is actually 7.5 minutes.
If we go derby time.
Rockatilly with 4 Margaret River skaters to contend with. Danny Hellraiser 3 Brisbane skaters there. And it looks like it is going to be
There you go.
Rockatilly
Every
who
day.
comes out the better of it, picks up lead jammer for the
Rockatilly
Northern
rocketing
Brisbane
through
Rollers.
that pack.
Slips through
Captain
the
for
outside
North
with a spin.
Brisbane Rollers. Not holding back. Getting through with ease. Danny Hellraiser.
And
not
steps
with jammer.
around the opposing
Only just
blockers,
making it out of
but
the
then they
pack.
overtake her.
2 blockers, just again, Kennedy and Mad
Well,
Mare.
there's 2 blockers out there now for Margaret River.
Leaving only Flea Raw and
Northern Brisbane take advantage, pick up all 4 points there and call off the jam. Margaret River not troubling the scorers in that
I'm trying
jam.
to think if it's hard. I don't know. These
We've got
play-on
Indigo
word
Fury
names
lining up again
can be
for the
very,
Northern
very
Brisbane
confusing
Rollers.
sometimes.
And Handy Mandy for Margaret River.
Margaret Rivers only have 2 blockers on the track, giving Northern Brisbane Rollers the track advantage.
I should have known from your accent.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Pish posh.
Handy Mandy thought she spotted an inside line there, didn't eventuate.
Indigo Fury against Lee Jammer.
It's got about 6 or 7 strides ahead of Handy Mandy. Handy Mandy hot on her heels and shooting laser beams at Indigo Fury. Indigo Fury's going to dip
fast moving pack. Indigo Fury calling off the jam as Margaret River's skaters come back onto the track. We'll start this jam without any skaters in the penalty box.
But however, she did manage to run out a little bit of time, which allowed them back onto the track, meaning that Margaret River goes on with a full lineup.
We've got Rockatilly, the captain of the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
And she's taking on Rangabanger for Margaret River.
Rangabanger, 1-1-0 for Margaret River. Margaret River in the black, Northern Brisbane in blue.
Rangabanger forced to go the long way back. Rockatilly takes advantage, picks up lead Jammer. Rangabanger stuck at the back of the pack.
As well as the scoreboard.
Rockatilly slips around the outside easily and picks up another 5 points for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
Not so easy for Rangabanger right now. She's been worked over by
Having to work her
Brad.
way right through the pack and then just getting stuck behind that impenetrable wall of defence from North Brisbane.
Rockatilly, Jammer for
Rangabanger finally
gets
gets
a second
out.
Grand Slam. Rangabanger does
After a
clear
high
the
block
pack.
is called on
Does not
Danger
get
Meow.
anywhere near scoring position. A 10-point jam for
But it was all
Northern
too
Brisbane.
late. We're going to see a timeout here. Mention a couple more of our sponsors. In Isogenics, solutions to transform lives. Isogenics is a complete and simple system of nutritional cleansing that provides support for athletes or armchair athletes. Some examples, Natalie Cook and Yana Pittman both using Isogenics to lose body fat, gain lean muscle and boost performance.
Another platinum sponsor. A shout out to the Rod.
That's right, and we've also got Hellcat clothing. You can buy Hellcat clothing here in the Balfour. Hellcat clothing is for all your lycra needs, really. I've actually had a few chats with Gogo Fiasco of Hellcat clothing about the best way to sew lycra.
And if you need some photography, go and speak to Suitcase Photography. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Suitcase Photography. Second time that they have sponsored the Great Southern Slam and their 4th year taking photos for Adelaide Roller Derby.
Over here on track along the penalty box, sponsored by Rydell Skates. Rydell Skates is just... If you're playing roller derby,
and we've got Red Hot Riot lining up for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
And Betty Yokosuka for the Cabernet Savages.
The block a few feet ahead of the channel line for once.
Representing Rydell Skates, but indirectly.
Betty Yokosuka trying her best to push those Northern Brisbane back skaters out of play. Red Hot Riot thought she was through for lead jammer, but in fact picks up a penalty for use of forearms. That means Betty Yokosuka, the only jammer on the track, and now your lead jammer.
And now moving around into the first scoring pass of the power jam. Passive offense set up, but no, that's going to be Molly Toff in motion, trying to open up a lane through for Betty Yokosuka.
Try to break down
And
the Northern Brisbane
crunch time. Not going to be able to hang on.
Naybomb off floor, out of play engagement there.
Now slamming right into Danger Meow.
And Betty Yokosuka off to the penalty box now for a back block.
And now giving up a power jam to Northern Brisbane. Red Hot Riot fresh out of the penalty box as well.
Red Hot Riot is back on the track. We're going to go to 2 minutes. Red Hot Riot looking to make up for those points. Betty Yokosuka has already scored. There's 5 of them.
Grand Slam. That's going to match Betty Yokosuka's first scoring pass Grand Slam. And now on her second scoring pass, Betty Yokosuka was on her second scoring pass.
It gets knocked to the inside, recycled to the back.
Yeah, good work from Molly Todd there, knocking Red Hot Riot to the inside of the track. Red Hot Riot now picking up another 5 points.
Last-ditch effort from Just a Jam Fancy. There was a shoulder check coming across, but Just a Jam Fancy coming up short. Third scoring pass. It's 10 points so far from Northern Brisbane. Comes through.
Another 5 for Red Hot Riot and the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
She tries to pull it up, but realises that she's not lead. This jam will
it's
go
not going to last much longer. Betty Yokosuka comes smashing into the pack.
Jam
Knocks
comes
down
to its
Indigo
natural
Fury. However,
conclusion.
Indigo Fury was inverted, so the contact was actually legal.
And Betty Yokosuka picks up a penalty there for illegal engagement after the penalty, after the whistle had gone.
Then hops to her feet, whipping her pants. Which I can do.
Rockatilly lining up for the Northern Brisbane Rollers. She's the only one on the general line. And she's straight through the pack. Gets lead.
Did Betty Yokosuka go to the penalty box for that?
She certainly did.
Was it a legal procedure or was it?
Rockatilly recycled into the pack. But she's back through on the inside.
Well, Rockatilly does well there. Slade skates, gets up the inside line. Betty Yokosuka making her way to the back of the pack now.
Rockatilly's just barely through the outside. Just on her the tips of her skates. Picks up another 4 points.
That was the last point of contact for Margaret River. Hits the pack again. Right behind them.
Northern Brisbane taking control of this game at the moment.
Knocked to the infield.
Rockatilly calls off the jam.
Danny Hellraiser doesn't bother to come back in.
Picking up another 3 points on that pass.
3 points for Northern Brisbane.
0 points for Margaret River. And as the points stand at the moment, we have North Brisbane.
After a close first half, Northern Brisbane have got out to a handy lead. 121 now plays 48 with 8 minutes to go.
Margaret River needing to beef
Indigo
up their
Fury
defense a little
lining
bit.
up for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
Handy Mandy for Margaret River.
They have such agility, such strength.
Right out of the penalty box is empty over here on track one.
Indigo Fury knocks down hard to the outside, but she leaps back up, gets back into the pack.
Opening up the distance, but the pack catches back up. Now Nabon's going to make a 3-wall for Northern Brisbane.
Well, Indigo
Red
Fury
Hot
almost
Riot
around the outside,
smashing
runs into her opposite number in
There goes
Handy
Indigo
Mandy.
Fury taking a whip off of Red Hot Riot. Dodges
And
around, smack,
Handy Mandy
and completes her initial
is
lap.
off to the
Not
penalty
gonna get
box.
a lead.
Handy Mandy getting sent to the bin for a cut track.
Did she have regeneration? She got very close to the
Indigo
front
Fury
line.
hitting a really hard pack there. She manages to knock her way through quite quickly. Picks up another 5 points. She is not lead. This jam will go for the full 2 minutes.
Indigo Fury taking their time there, facing up against that wall of Margaret River defence, but it's not a deterrent at all for Indigo Fury. She just keeps on skating. She's still got the power, still got the
Northern Brisbane
strength.
Rollers picks up another 5 points.
Handy Mandy.
Oh, Handy Mandy out of the penalty box. Beautifully, it looks like that was...
Handy Mandy it was. My apologies.
Pass.
Was released from the
4
bin.
points there.
Indigo Fury bulldozed her way through the last time, but this time just sneaks up a center lane, a little opened up by Red Hot Riot, with 4 points on that spring pass. Handy Mandy did complete it.
4 points on that pass, in fact. The previous pass was the initial for Handy Mandy.
Indigo Fury looking back again, but Handy Mandy coming up right behind her is going to be looking to match the punch, but immediately deflected by
Indigo
crunch time of Northern Brisbane.
slips through the inside then.
Yeah, they made it.
Really chewing up the time in this
Almost
jam.
looks like she might have got a cutting.
It seems like it is going on
The
forever.
other skater had gone down.
Of course it isn't.
Picks up 3
And
points.
it's just my imagination. But I'm sure these skaters feel like it's going for a lot longer than 2 minutes allowed. Indigo Fury looking weary, looking exhausted, but still powering on, pushing her way through.
Both jammers
2 minute
fighting
allotment
right
comes
down
to
to the last
an end.
second. Indigo Fury is able to get 2
Northern
points.
Brisbane
That's
with a
one
handy
ghost
lead
point
again,
for just a
and 2 points on that pass against 3 to Margaret River. Margaret River sending out their captain Danny Hellraiser once again with the star.
And we've got Brat coming out for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
2:55 for Margaret River, and just a little over 5 minutes remaining in the game.
Margaret River going to definitely beef up their
Brad gets the early
defense, something
advantage.
drastic if they
Gets to
want
that front wall
rack
of
up
Margaret
their
River,
points.
but
They
can't
keep
get
North
past.
Brisbane sitting on that 140 mark.
Ningaloo Dream. I wish I knew what Ningaloo meant.
Danny Hellraiser still stuck in the pack as well.
Box for knocking down
and
Brad.
Danny Hellraiser is
Brad
through now.
in the
Picks up
pack.
Lee Jammer up the inside there.
Danny Hellraiser from Margaret River shoots her way through the front.
Now that penalty possibly almost worth it because that allows Danny Hellraiser to get lead jammer and dips into the pack first, calls off the jam.
Danny Hellraiser happy with the 1 point there, calling off the jam after getting past that rearmost blocker.
Tastes so good in and around her
Handy
mouth.
Mandy back on the jam line and without an opponent at this stage.
Handy Mandy for Margaret River out there with Paula Maxwell. Mingle Groove still serving time in the penalty box. We have a timeout.
And we're going to see a timeout here for Northern Brisbane. I'd also like to thank the Green Monster Skate Company, whose total focus is to produce fresh ideas and innovative product designs for the market of roller skating, specifically for roller derby.
And also Radar Wheels. They've donated products for the raffle at the after party, so stick around for the after party. You might get some Radar Wheels.
Big thank you as well to Faster Skates. Maximise your grip, speed and edging with Faster's dual durometer wheels. They're available here at TGSS.
Go eat some chocolate if you don't like chocolate, and you will change your mind. I guarantee you. Big shout out to Hague's Chocolates.
Getting towards dinner time as well. If you don't feel like a substantial meal today, maybe just get yourself through with some Hague's chocolate.
That's right, I have Hague's to owe for the man I am today.
Not a lady.
That looks like the timeout. Only the first time.
Well, Handy Mandy still jamming here for Margaret River in this jam.
We've got Danger Meow jamming now for Northern Brisbane Rollers.
Black and a fresh jammer for Northern Brisbane. It's Danger Meowth, number 0 for Northern Brisbane in the blue. Handy Mandy getting out of the pack first for Margaret River. She's leading the jammer. Meowth looking to the outside lane. Gets around Merrill.
Danger Meowth only just reaching
out
the
of
pack
position by
now.
Red Hot Riot, and Danger Meowth has completed their initial pass.
Legally Grief joining her pack there on the track, making a nice little 4-wall at the back. She wants to help ensure that Danger Meowth does not surpass her team.
Handy Mandy getting the call from a bench there to call off the jam. Did so
scored,
just
no
in
points
time.
all round.
Picks up a 4-0
Nobody gets
advantage
anything.
in that jam.
3.5 minutes remaining into that jam. And the next jam starts will be like 3 minutes remaining.
Well, jamming up for the first time, I think, today. Sugar Glide for Margaret River.
Or maybe just some focus.
And Rockatilly lining up for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
Focus.
Damn. You didn't think so many things rhymed with focus.
Rockatilly, number 286 team captain for Northern Brisbane. Up the inside lane, bounces up.
Rockatilly's through with Lee Jammer.
And gets out.
Sugar Glide though comes through almost at the same time.
Sugar Glide.
Sugar Glide, fresh jammer for Margaret River. So lead jammer goes to Northern Brisbane. It looked like Rockatilly was going to go for some
Rockatilly
points,
not taking any risks there, calling off the jam, not allowing either her or Sugar Glide to get any points on the board.
Northern Brisbane still with a solid lead.
Handy Mandy back jamming now for Margaret River.
Which is a lot of points to rack up in 2.5 minutes.
Northern Brisbane fielding another fresh jammer, Anti-Chrysler.
And we've got Anti-Chrysler jamming for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
North Brisbane.
NBR seem to be trying out a few new jammers towards the end of the game.
And Anti-Chrysler gets ahead once again just
similar time, but Anti-Chrysler gets the
Handy Mandy. And now avoids a shoulder check from Handy Mandy.
Handy Mandy who's just chasing her down there, not giving up. She
Handy
wants
Mandy
to put
does
the
not
pressure
look
on,
happy that she
maybe
hasn't
forcing
gotten
some
the
kind
lead.
of fault or forcing a stumble or a fall from Anti-Chrysler.
And now it's 4-on-4 in the pack. Brawler Max Wheels knocking down Anti-Chrysler and sending her out of bounds. Anti-Chrysler calling off the jam, but Handy Mandy able to get through for all 4 points. Anti-Chrysler 7.
That's an impressive jam.
Let's go
Anti-Chrysler just getting her timing wrong.
Mandy snuck through that inside line. A small victory, but a
Nabom
victory
lining up
still.
for the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
And Danny Hellraiser for Margaret River.
Continuing to exercise its bench, going deep for Nabom, number 78. Fresh jammer against Danny Hellraiser, number 777. And that was knocked down by Nabom. Nabom actually doing some defense while she's at it. That's what she's been doing. A fantastic
Nabom sneaks through a stool pack, but then gets in the back.
But just a jump fancy, recycles successfully. And now behind
Danny Hellraiser off to the penalty box here for a track cut.
Captain and jammer for Margaret River, being sent to the bin for a cut track.
Just a jam fancy making last contact against Nabom, but Nabom now lead jammer on the power hit. Back frozen on the back stretch. Nabom hits the pack, and Red Hot Riot in motion, trying to open up the center lane, but Nabom goes for the inside. Molly Toth is there. Now a hip check from
Nabom
Just a
getting
Jam
knocked
Fancy
around a
was
bit, but
unable
picks up
to
another
knock
5 points.
Nabom out of bounds, and she gets out clean for 5 points, a grand slam for Northern Brisbane. Danny Hellraiser standing up in the penalty box.
Entering the pack. Making her way
Danny
through that
Hellraiser
wall
now back
defense.
out of the penalty box,
Set up so
looking to
well.
score some points for her
Bouncing
team
back off
here.
the falling to the floor. Bit of fancy footwork there.
Russian kick, the on point for Northern Brisbane. Knocking Danny Hellraiser
back
out
to
of
the
bounds.
penalty box,
Well done.
using forearms there. Gaining an
Okay, I
advantage by
didn't
doing
even see the
so.
referee signal. I think it looked like Danny
She
Hellraiser
may be
just
sitting
decided
down
she
for the
gotta
rest of
cut
this
it to
game.
track and went straight to the box, as far as I could tell.
Taking a seat there with a smile on her
Nabom's
face.
doing
She's
a
not
bit of
too
defending getting
phased.
back through the pack.
A lot of rough and tumble here in what I believe is the last jam of this game of North Brisbane Rollers against the Margaret River Roller Derby.
And what I
Took a
just
glide off
noticed
the
that
penalty
Red
box
Hot
using
Riot got
elbows.
a 7th penalty. So must have
And
gotten
Danny
it.
Hellraiser
must
is
have
released from the box,
must
but
have
right on the
fouled out.
final whistle.
However, I think she did it in the second to
Another
last
5 points to
jam.
the Northern Brisbane Rollers.
So it didn't really have any impact on the Northern Brisbane game.
Well, time is up here. Looks like a healthy win to the Northern Brisbane Rollers over the Margaret River Cabernet Savages.
Scores at the moment.
Another great game played in great spirits though, and great determination from both teams out
Definitely
there.
North Brisbane Rollers ahead.
Right now, unofficial final, Northern Brisbane 151, Margaret River Roller Derby at 64 points.
Just waiting on the last confirmation. Excellent work though from both teams there.
Just looking
especially
over
from
at the
Margaret
bench
River
of
Roller
Margaret
Derby,
River.
who
Looks like they've had an
deserves
absolutely
some
fantastic
mad
time.
props and a ton
As the
of roller
final
derby
whistle
love.
blows, there's your official
Their
final
first
score.
ever Great Southern Slam,
151 plays
with the official
64.
scores
Your
being
winners
Margaret
today,
River
the
Roller
Northern
Derby,
Brisbane
64
Rollers.
points against the North Brisbane Rollers at 151 points.
Next up on this track, we have Gold City versus Devil State. That's going to be coming up in just about 8 minutes or so. Well, it looks like I think there might be more time in between. But anyway, what's important is the next game is going to be Gold City versus Devil State.
Devil State, if you remember, skated against Wollongong Illawarra just one game ago and were not successful in winning. So I'm trying to make it sound nice that they didn't win, but we'll see how they go against Gold City. It'll be a very, very interesting game. Lots of love out there in the roller derby community. Lots of high fives there for everyone who's here supporting the Margaret River girls.
A lot of happy faces. You know, this is just a great time for everyone. You know, well, this is actually the Division II teams playing today, and a lot of these teams have very few opportunities even to skate in any tournaments at all.
That's exactly right.
Most tournaments are geared towards the higher division teams, particularly Division I teams. So I mean, they're just thrilled to be here this weekend, and so am I. And I'm guessing you are too.
Everybody is. Everybody's super, super thrilled to be here. So much roller derby, so much love, such a fantastic community to be a part of. Definitely something that, it's just overwhelming, overwhelming.
Well, a fine performance from Northern Brisbane this evening, and this is their last game, the last game in the preliminary pools.
They went up against Westside not long ago and came out empty-handed. They lost.
All right, but anyway, we're gonna leave you now. The next time you see this track, it's gonna be Gold City versus Devil State. I'm Bulldog.
And I'm Scarface Johansson, representing Geelong Roller Derby League here in Adelaide at the Great Southern Slam.
Thanks for tuning in.
Over and out.